Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical, and today for you guys we're going to be going over 3 little interesting details that I've recently noticed to do with the brand new Kingdom Hearts 2.8 trailer. Upon coming across these little details, I kind of thought to myself that they were actually interesting enough to talk about. As of right now, there's a lot of stuff that is actually included in the new trailer that a lot of people are theorizing about, mainly of course to do with the whole Kingdom Hearts key back cover section of it, as there's so much mystery surrounding the, I suppose you could say, Kingdom Hearts key universe. But still to the point, I thought I would go over these little details. I didn't actually include them in my analysis because back then I actually didn't pick up on these details, but just in case you guys haven't already seen my analysis, be sure to go do that. We go over lots and lots of different interesting things that we of course do come across in the trailer. However guys, without further ado, let's get on with this video. The first thing that I want to talk about is Aqua's hair length. Now yes, I know this seems kind of insane. We're talking about Aqua's damn hair. I mean, are you stupid? But it's something that I kind of came across upon, of course, watching this trailer a numerous amount of times. I sort of thought to myself, Aqua's hair length in this scene right here, where Mickey, of course, you know, sort of like in a way comes and saves her, almost looks like it's actually growing, like her hair length is actually getting decently long, especially if you notice it at the back. For instance though, if we actually look at Aqua's hair, which in this scene, this is a scene out of Birth by Sleep, where of course Aqua comes across Mickey for the first time, you'll notice that her hair looks a little bit shorter. Now honestly, her hair length might be exactly the same, it just might be the angles or something, but the reason why this is sort of important is it kind of signifies perhaps maybe the certain amount of time that Aqua has actually been in the Realm of Darkness. As you guys probably know, the time in the Realm of Darkness flows differently to that of how time flows in the normal outside worlds, which means that this hair length might actually signify the amount of time that Aqua's actually been in the Realm of Darkness. Like I said, this might not be a definite, her hair length still might be the same, but I thought it was something interesting to note down. The next small detail I want to talk about is the black coat that Luxu and the Master of Masters wears. Now, of course we know that the black coat is a very familiar piece of clothing to us, as of course it's the exact same coat that the Organization 13 wears. Now, however, there is actually a very small difference between the Organization 13 black coat and the black coat that Luxu and the Master of Masters is wearing, and that is that their zipper is actually different. Now, if we actually look at the zipper on the Organization 13 coat, the coat that they wear, the zipper is just a basic plain zipper that you would find on any sort of hoodie or something like that, right? But when we actually look at the zipper on Luxu's and the Master of Masters, you'll notice that it's almost in the shape of what looks to be kind of the blade portion of the X-Blade, or more so known as the Keyblade. Now we know that the Keyblade is probably the most powerful actual Keyblade in existence. It's essentially the actual key to the power of Kingdom Hearts itself, which right there goes to show you how damn powerful this freaking weapon is. It means that it is most likely a very, very, very ancient Keyblade, and of course can only be summoned by the powers of light and darkness clashing together. It leads me to believe that the Master of Masters obviously knows about the Ki or Kai blade, and maybe they have something to do with it. Meaning, of course, both Luxu and the Master of Masters, perhaps maybe their grand scheme is to somehow get their hands on the X-Blade. We of course know that in Birth by Sleep, Xehanort was actually very successful towards summoning the X-Blade by clashing the light of Ventus against his own darkness, who was of course Vanitas. And of course, in the end result, the X-Blade was summoned, but because of Ventus's strong resistance, he decided to actually merge with Vanitas and partially destroy his own heart in order to actually stop the summoning of the X-Blade. Now, we actually don't know too much about the whole origin story about the X-Blade, but there is some sort of similarities between the zipper here and the X-Blade itself. This could of course hint towards some sort of relation to do with Luxu and the Master of Masters and the X-Blade itself. Of course, the zipper actually might be in relation to something completely different, separated from the X-Blade, it might mean something else, and that is of course a possibility. I just can't help the uncanny resemblance of this blade-like zipper to the blade of the X-Blade. So to the point, where did the knowledge of this key or X-Blade come from in the first place? I'm pretty sure at this point it's fairly obvious that because of the Master of Masters has control over all of these tomes, which of course explains future and destined events that are going to happen, he's probably the first person to know about the X-Blade and exactly what it is. Once again though, this is my little theory on it, so take it as you will. And the last detail I want to talk about is the Master of Masters movements and voice, as well as talking about Luxu's voice as well. So let's start with the Master of Masters. Now in this scene right here, we actually see Ira having a conversation with the Master of Masters, and just to clarify, yes, in this scene, this is the Master of Masters. You can actually definitely tell who's who between the Master of Masters and Luxu. They both have different voices and they're easy to identify. So yes, just to clarify, this right here is the Master of Masters. Now, of course, you guys can see that Ira and the Master of Masters, they're having a conversation, right? They're talking about the fact that, holy crap, 7 people can save the world, of course referring to the Guardians of Light. But notice the kind of gestures and the movements that the Master of Masters makes while conversating with Ira. They are very, very similar to another character in the Kingdom Hearts universe. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Xigbar. Now honestly, I don't know if you guys actually picked up on this. This kind of hit my brain as I was watching the trailer more and more and more. You know, Xigbar has a very particular way of doing his gestures when he's talking to people. He's very, I suppose you could say, expressful with the way his body moves and his hand movements and stuff while he's talking to people. Almost kind of like he's got a bit of sarcasm going on with his body language. And I kind of picked that up with the Master of Masters here with his gestures while talking to Ira. Now, I'm not too sure whether there is a connection between Xigbar and the Master of Masters, and honestly, I find it very, very unlikely because, well, for starters, Xigbar at this point didn't exist, and also Xigbar is kind of like Xehanort's sort of henchman. But there is something interesting going on with Xigbar, as sort of stated in the Destiny Secrets cutscene that was included in Recoded for 2.5. He mentions to young Xehanort that he has plans of his own.
Whatever. I got my hands full with my own plans. So, which poor soul will it be?
Now, I'm not trying to say that there is a connection between Xigbar and the Master of Masters. I think that seems kind of unlikely, but the whole hand gestures seem very close to that of Xigbar's, so I thought I'd just mention that. Talking towards the Master of Masters' voice, I also don't know if you guys have picked up on this, but it almost seems like a mature, older Sora, and it almost to me seems like the voice actor for the Master of Masters for the English version is Haley Joel Osment putting on a deeper voice.
Are you telling me that you think the world can be saved by just 7 people? Guess you better get started then. Unfortunately, you'll have to go alone from here on out.
Now at this point in time, we don't know who the voice actor is for this character, so I could be completely wrong. This is just a guess of mine. But how interesting would it be if there is actually some sort of a connection to Sora and the Master of Masters? I know this is a theory that a lot of people have been talking about. People have been talking about the fact that, you know, Sora could actually be the Master of Masters and then he became reincarnated as Sora and somehow, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts stuff, man. Is confusing. And talking along the lines of voices, Luxu's voice is actually very similar to another Kingdom Hearts character, and that is young Ericus.
What about the others? There's more to light than meets the eye. You might be surprised.
We of course hear young Ericus in the E3 Kingdom Hearts 2015 trailer. We hear him having a conversation with young Xehanort, and in case you guys don't know, Drake Bell is actually the voice actor for young Ericus. And Drake Bell almost seems like he's also voice acting Luxu as well. So once again, I don't know if there is a connection between Luxu and Ericus. That kind of seems unlikely as well, considering the fact that Luxu actually has a hold of Xehanort's Keyblade that Xehanort has now. So yeah, that just kind of seems a little bit messy. However guys, hopefully you've enjoyed these other extra little findings. I thought I'd do a video on these because at this point, they're more so theory points rather than hard evidence, but I feel as if Tetsuya Nomura and Square Enix, they put these little different details in their trailers to hint towards possible things. What's interesting is Nomura actually stated that this trailer was actually used to sort of project what's to look forward to next and sort of where the series is going. So honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Tetsuya Nomura has purposely put different hints within these trailers to of course give us clues. However guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to let me know what you guys think about these little other details in the comment section down below. And until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.